everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ash and I'm here with a review for Game Dev Story on Xbox. Now, this is developed and published by Kairosoft and it released in 2023 on Xbox, but it's basically a port of a old iPhone and Android game. Bare bones sort of port over. There's nothing really added bar achievements, and it obviously running on much better resolution. And it sees you managing your own video game company, trying to basically create the next hit. And they've been pumping these games out because obviously they've got a nice back catalogue of having these made over the years on phones. I own about 4 or 5 of these games now. This was the first one I tried and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's so simple but actually really in-depth. And basically you start off with this small game development studio. You have a couple of staff, you have to hire them. They each have different roles, like maybe one's music, maybe one's art direction, one's a writer, director, etc. And you have to then buy a license to create video games on a certain system or just port it to PC. You then have to decide on the genre and stuff like that and what type of gameplay it's going to be. And then you have like special like skill points you can put into categories to sort of make it unique. And then once you've done that, you go to dev mode, in which your people will work to create the game over a period of time. You then go into bug fixing, and then once it's complete, the game gets released. Now, it's a very simple loop, but it's really, really sort of addictive. So you've got to manage budgets, because obviously starting out, you can't afford the big console games. But going for the smaller systems or PC means you've got less player base, so you don't make as much money. And when you start, you don't have the best staff, so your games aren't as good, so you don't get great reviews. You may then pick bad genres with different gameplay types that don't mesh, so they do terrible. And you may have to then take in like contract work, which you have a deadline to meet, but at least you get paid for that, and that can help fund future games. Now, as you progress, you'll end up growing the size of your studio to newer buildings. You'll end up having tons of different staff. They'll earn more money. Your games will get bigger and better. You can then outsource as well because you've got the money to. And at each point along the game process, like the development, you'll come to sections where you need to assign a member of staff to do a certain job. Depending on who you pick, depends on their output, depends on like the total your games get. So as you see on the bottom of the screen, there's like icons. The higher the level, the better the game is. So you want to get them as high up as possible. You start off in quite low numbers, but eventually when you've got trained staff and stuff like that, they really fly up. Now, you can also choose to focus on making your game bug-free, so it takes less time it takes more time to develop, or you can sort of rush it out and it comes out buggy. Again, though, it will affect your overall earnings. So it sounds really straightforward and simple, but it's really in-depth. You've got burnout of your staff, so you've got to sort of allow them to have breaks and stuff like that. Plan around having different people. You've got to train them up, but if you train them up, they want more money, so you have to plan in for that. You can go to game trade shows. You can spend money on advertising, and it tells you how many fans you've got as you progress. So if a game does really well, you get more fans, but if you keep doing the same sort of game, you might lose fans because they're getting a bit bored. So you have to diversify, you have to try loads of different games, consoles and stuff like that. And the game really takes place over about a 20 or a 30 year period. Now, the achievements in this game are quite straightforward. It will take you probably about 10 hours to get them all just by playing along, but it's not overly difficult. But you will hit a point where you've got the game of the year, you've got all the awards, you've got all the money in the world, and you're basically just repeating the same process over and over again. I really enjoyed it though. I got my money's worth out of it by far. I got so many hours into it. I loved creating different games and then finding out and improving my game genres, because I've done, say, a ninja action game. Then the next time I did an action game, I did it better because I had experience in it and stuff like that. There's just a lot to do. As your devs are working, they will gain these like points. You can then spend these points on upgrades and stuff like that, which is good. Sometimes devs will come to you and want to have a try at creating something or doing something a certain way. You can choose to do that, and if they succeed, it will give you a massive boost. But if they fail, you'll face the consequences and stuff like that. Now, one thing I will say, the UI is a little iffy at times because obviously this is a mobile port. So sometimes it's really easy to navigate the menus and other times it's not. But the core gameplay is fun. The gameplay loop doesn't get boring or repetitive for quite a while. I mean, when you get to sort of the double figures hours, you're starting to get into the sort of very same loop of I'm doing so good I don't need to worry anymore. But that first, the building up period when you start off small and you're slowly growing is really, really addictive and really enjoyable. Now, this is a game that plays on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S via like Microsoft Store as well, and it's priced at $9.99. So check this out if you like your sort of game dev games, you like your simulation games. I had a ton of fun playing it, and I'm looking forward to reviewing a host of Kairosoft releases. They do all sorts of different ones, from like like restaurant sims to tavern and like hotel sims and stuff like that. So there'll be loads of these coming to the channel in the near future. But hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more gaming content, guys. Bye for now.